On September 2014, Scotland held a referendum voting to leave the UK, with 55% saying stay and 45% saying leave. This is probably the closest they'll ever get to independence, as recently a referendum has been blocked by Westminster. And due to Scotland being ethnically Celtic, it separates itself from Germanic England. But what is a Celtic nation? Well, the term Celtic is an ethnicity that is around Western Europe, and today there are 7 nations that are Celtic. These nations are Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Isle of Man, Cornwall, Brittany and Glacier. Currently, only one nation today is independent, and of course that is Ireland. But what if, out of nowhere, the Celtic Union reunited today on this spot? Well, this new country would have a starting GDP of $1.1 trillion, with Ireland contributing to half of that economy. Dublin would likely be the capital, as Ireland is the powerhouse of this nation, and its population would be 21 million. If a Celtic government was to be in place, one of its goals would definitely be retaking their old languages back, such as Welsh, Breton, Gaelic and Irish. But if the Celtic Union formed, many countries would despise its formation, and mostly England, as right now the British government holds its nukes in Scotland, and if it were to happen, the Celtic Union would be a nuclear power. Another reason is the new maritime border. If you don't know, every country is entitled to their own maritime border made by the United Nations, and all these countries combined would give the entrance of the English Channel in their hands, causing trades to be much harder for England. Speaking of England, the UK would cease to exist, to just be named England, as its former union with the other countries are gone. However, France and Spain would still survive. However, this would trigger more independence movements in Europe. But how would the international community react to this? Well, this would practically be a dream for the East, as given Ireland's neutrality, it would be the cooperative partner to NATO. For Russia and China, a divided West is always better for them. America would be devastated. Not only are they best ally, the UK, is no longer existing, they wouldn't have a partner for their international operations. But what about the economy? Well, to be honest, given the underpopulation of Ireland and the empty space, new money would make more farmland, not just in Ireland, but everywhere else in the country, and tourism would be booming from the beaches of Glacier to the mountains of Scotland and the valleys of Wales. Although despite this potential, there's one huge problem. That's England. Again. If a magical nation came out of nowhere, England would want its land back. And even though England is weaker after the breakup, it's still stronger than all these countries combined. But could the Celtic Union stand up and put up a fight? Well, without a doubt, England would beat the Celtic Union in every comparison, with every country in the Union relying on Ireland due to it being the only country with an existing military. But even though they have more money that they could spend on defence, an immediate invasion from England would prevent the Celtic Union from preparing in the first place. And with Ireland's 9,000 active personnel and 8 helicopters, it doesn't look easy for the Celtic Union to survive on its own. But it wouldn't be a complete demolition job for England, as people in the British military that aren't English might switch sides to fight. And with an estimate of 8.4 million people that could be fit for service, the Union could likely mobilise quickly if needed. So how would this war play out? Well, we'd first see strategic locations like Cornwall and the Isle of Man being taken, and a full naval blockade in the Irish Sea to stop any more of troops in Ireland crossing over to Britain. Wales would fall quickly, and a tough fight would begin in Scotland, with some of the troops from Ireland getting over to Scotland, but they would likely retreat to defend Ireland. And then a guerrilla war would begin in Ireland, with one or the other suing for peace, but England would most likely come out victorious. And for Brittany and Glacier, they'd either rejoin their former countries, become a sovereign state, or just get invaded by their bigger countries. There is something as a Celtic Union, but this is all just a made-up scenario. These countries in the Union do have a rivalry against England, but this is a joke and won't cause them to break away or anything. But in this Union, there are some countries that do have support for their own country to become independent, and most notably the Scottish independence movement. So could this magical union become a reality today? No, absolutely not. The odds are against them in every way. Scotland's referendum has been blocked, Isle of Man and Cornwall hardly have national pride, and Wales always votes alongside with England. And even if one of these countries became independent, they wouldn't likely merge together in the first place. But there is a chance of the Celtic Union becoming a possibility. In the 2021 census, it is shown that the Catholic population in Northern Ireland has outgrown the Protestant population, which is the main reason for the division in the first place. So it's definitely going to unite sometime in the future. And Wales has a shot too, with Yes Cymru campaign growing and Plaid Cymru political movement supporting independence. It all looks good, but unfortunately, support for independence in Wales is low. But what about Brittany? Well, like Wales, Brittany has their own language with a different culture to France. However, again, the independence movement for this nation is very low. Thank you for watching. This was my first video, of course, so it wasn't going to be the best. But if you made it so far, thank you, and goodbye.